They say when you remember something, you're only remembering the last time you remembered it. How many times can you remember remembering something before it wears out, like an old piece of delicate fabric? I have a memory like that shows up now and then, a bit more tattered each time. And it may not even be of an actual thing or experience at all, but rather something my mum told me when I was young. So naturally I believe it as though it actually happened. She told me I used to have a little blanket when I was a wee little thing that I held on to everywhere I went until all it was a tiny scrap. I try like hell to remember that old blanket, but all I can remember is the story. And that's okay, because the story itself is enough to remind me how special my childhood was. I don't need the worn scrap of fabric, just the memory of the story of it. And if someday I can no longer remember, that worn out old piece of fabric would just be nothing more than a tragic metaphor for my memory itself. Just like my dear sweet mother's memory is now. A tattered scrap, riddled with holes at that. My only hope is that somewhere deep down inside of her, she remembers all the unforgettable things she did to make my childhood so unforgettable. Growing up, I was afraid to tell other children how amazing my mother was, because I didn't want them feeling bad about their own. The way she loved us, cared for us. I wish I could tell her that now. I would if I thought it would make any sense to her, or that she'd even remember the things necessary to connect it all to. I hope with all my heart somewhere deep inside of you, Mum, you remember. I hope you remember wiping away my tears after I tore open my upper lip, holding my hand to your cheek as the doctor stitched it up. Or cheering loudest for me to hit a home run and softly whispering to me it was all okay when I struck out, believing in me no matter what. Or teaching me it was okay to be a dreamer, knowing real life would bring me only so much happiness, and that the rest was up to my dreams and imagination. Or that time in high school you covered for me, when my girlfriend's mother called wondering where we were. And having the most thoughtful conversation with me about it when I finally got home, pretending you were out late watering the flowers instead of looking like you were waiting for me. And all the gifts you bought me over the years, with cards full of thoughtful words of thanks and love for helping you with one thing or another, when you could no longer do them. Or the day you cut a scrap out of the newspaper and slipped it into one of those thank you cards. It was a poem by Alice Chase titled To My Grown-Up Son. I still have it here, and it goes like this. My hands were busy through the day. I didn't have much time to play. The little games you asked me to, I didn't have much time for you. I'd wash your clothes, I'd sew and cook, but when you'd bring your picture book and ask me please to share your fun, I'd say a little later, son. I'd tuck you in all safe at night and hear your prayers turn out the light, then tiptoe softly to the door. I wish I'd stayed a minute more. For life is short, and years rush past. A little boy grows up so fast. No longer is he at your side, his precious secrets to confide. The picture books are put away. There are no children's games to play. No goodnight kiss. No prayers to hear. That all belongs to yesteryear. My hands once busy, now lie still. The days are long and hard to fill. I wish I might go back and do the little things he asked me to. Oh God. It wasn't the little things you didn't do, Mum. It was all the big things you did do that mattered most. And I should be thanking you. So I do hope with all my heart you remember some of those things, Mum. And I guess if you don't, it's all okay. Because for now, at least I still remember. And we still have each other. And I still remember you. And you still remember me.